All right, everybody. Welcome to Abnormal
Okay.
Alabama, and of course, the goofy guy there right below me is Kevin Kane, and he is what does Kevin do? Oh, haunted dolls. That's what he does. I had to think about that a minute. How could I forget that? Um, so Kevin has written 11 books. So stop snarling at me, and they're all on Amazon.com.
Yeah.
He is the next Stephen King. If you hadn't seen his books, you need to look him up. And if you go to myhauntedDolls.com, all his you can get his books there. He's also got audio books. He does all kind of stuff. So Lisa, go over to his channel on YouTube and subscribe to him too. Okay. Now,
Okay,
Kevin, that Lisa right
Yes.
there, she is a bone thrower. Do you know what a bone thrower is?
Yes, I heard.
Okay. So she throws.
Somebody
she
throws
throws
bones.
she can tell you what's going to happen to you tomorrow by throwing bones.
Oh, okay.
And
I've heard of that.
and tell you all about your cousin.
she has just written her first book, and she's doing some edits on it. And you and I have got to give her some pointers on getting on Amazon and publishing there, which is not difficult, Lisa. That's her book. Kevin's got 11 books. He just bought a new estate. He moved from a little garden house, so many dolls, he had to buy a full estate. And we call it the Graceland of Chelsea, Alabama. I'm trying to talk him into putting gates to his estate. And instead of having a guitar, he will put doll heads on it.
Oh, that would be fantastic. I would totally go to that.
Yeah. So so we're gonna have a very interesting show. A lot of times it's just Kevin and I sitting here acting silly, and we'll probably act silly tonight too. So, but we got to be careful because I understand Lisa may throw bones at you if you're not good. So, this girl, and I'm gonna
go get a doll.
yeah, I told her that if she didn't do you right, you'd be sending some of your spirit dolls her way. All right.
Yep.
Here is Lisa's website. There's her name, Lisa Luna. So she's what's that? The Moon Lisa?
Atalanta Moonfire. Yeah, the Moon Lisa.
Moonchild.
Moonchild.
And she is going to, I'm going to let her talk. Believe it or not, I am going to let you talk. Hold on a second. I have to be careful letting
He's gonna listen.
letting this one talk. So and I'm really anxious to hear this. Lisa, I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce. And what I'd like to hear you start out with is tell us who you are, tell us your history and what you do, and then tell us what got you into throwing bones. Okay?
Okay.
And then I've got a bunch of questions about bone throwing to throw at you.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm Lisa, but I'm also known as Atalanta Moonfire, and that's my pen name. I am 51 this month. I've been pagan since I was 14 and heavily practicing my craft.
Are you trying to beg for?
Been in my 30s.
Are you trying to beg for birthday presents?
Hint, hint. July 28th. There's my website. So yeah, I started practicing tarot when I was 25 years old, and then I stuck with that for years. And then about 9 years ago, I got introduced to the bones. Once I got introduced to the bones, I just became addicted to it and looked for any information I could possibly find on it. It was really difficult to do. they're usually the information's passed down verbally through tradition. I did find a few books on it. I found a couple of websites, and I found someone who would train me. So I was very lucky in that area. I've been practicing bones ever since. I still do tarot a little bit, but my passion is throwing bones. So that's about it. I've been a Reiki master. I'm also high priestess of a coven called Sacred Moon. I an ordained minister. I've done a little bit of everything. I practice eclectic magic, which is a mixture of everything. I don't follow a single path. I go through the different Celtic and Hecatean, which is actually what I'm studying right now, hoodoo, and different paths, and just combine them and pick what I want out of each path. And that's why I'm eclectic. So that's a little bit about me.
Okay. Well, it's an interesting thing. Until I was introduced to you, I was told about you yesterday. And then, of course, we became formally introduced to each other on the phone today. And it's fascinating because, first of all, Don did not tell me it was bone throwing. He just said you were a tarot reader. So when you told me the rest of the story, that really got fascinating. I've been around the paranormal, psychics, all this stuff, big part of my adult life. But I don't in modern age, I just hadn't run across anybody that actually does that. Now, after we talked today, I did a little internet research. It seems like there's a few people involved in it. You're not a sole practitioner, let me put it that way. But you are among a great minority. Would you agree with that?
I totally agree with that. It is
Yeah.
a very old tradition, and it's kind of got lost a little bit, but it's sort of coming back into mainstream. And that is one of the reasons why I wrote the book, is to get it back into mainstream and get people interested in it.
Okay. When you and I had a conversation, at least I thought it was good. I don't know what you thought, but I enjoyed the conversation we had today. And bottom line is that I think it's fascinating. I tell people all the time. Now I'm going to bring Kevin back on because I'm going to talk about him a second here. All right, open your eyes, Kevin.
They are open.
With his dolls, he does a lot of EVP, spirit box work. Okay, which I find it fascinating. There's some interesting things come across there. But if you go back through history, people have been communing with the other realm through what you're doing, the bones, and mirror scrying, all kind of wonderful stuff. They didn't have all these gadgets. They didn't have a phone that has apps on it that we can do stuff with. But they did accomplish the same thing. I would think that bone throwing probably goes back for like thousands of years.
It does. We don't even know how far back it goes. There's just not any information. It goes back to the beginning of time, and has been practiced through all countries. So it's associated a lot with hoodoo and voodoo, but to be honest with you, you don't have to be a practitioner of hoodoo or voodoo to throw the bones.
So I think there probably has some going back to like Haiti with this because Haiti's a mixed culture stuff there. A lot of people think of Haiti and think that it's all just voodoo, but Haiti's got a mixture of even Christianity, Catholicism in it. So they've got this blend of different belief systems down there. So it is. You told me earlier it's hard to trace this back to where it really originated from.
It
so
is. Yeah.
Now, step us through what you do and what you accomplish with throwing these bones. Start out with what you collect in your collection. I grabbed a picture of some stuff that's used for it, But describe this for us, and then tell us what you do. Do you carry it in a little bag, a little mixture of these items?
I have over 200 bones and curios and shells. So it's not just bones. You also use seashells and curios, little trinkets, in the practice that I do. And I have over 200 pieces. So I carry mine in a little box. And the more
Do
pieces you have, the more detail you get.
Okay. Now, you you don't throw 200 pieces out at a time, do you?
I do. I do. I put them all out. Sometimes I take some out. It just depends on what the querent or questioner wants to know. If they have a particular question, I'll pull some out specifically for that. Usually I throw them all for a general reading, and then I go through all the main subjects. There's a process of doing it. Whenever you have to cleanse them, obviously, and then you have the questioner mix the bones and think about what they want to know. Then you do a prayer over the bones, speaking to your ancestors. I'm just the tool that the ancestors speak through. So the spirit guides, the deities, the ancestors is the key component here. I'm just the tool.
In your practice, is it okay to call it a practice? What you do? Okay.
Practice.
In your practice, do you have spirit guides? Besides, are the ancestors your spirit guides?
I have spirit guides and ancestors. So
So
I have a combination of both. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So a lot of people that have spirit guides actually know a name or have a name attached to the spirit guides. Is that the way you roll with it?
No, I just call in whatever spirit guides want to guide me at that time.
Okay.
And I work with all spirit guides. And as far as ancestors, I go back, as far as my great grandmother and speak whoever wants to speak to me at that time.
Okay.
A lot of times I use my sister. My sister had passed away back in '95, and she speaks to me a lot, and in dreams and also through the bones. So she guides me a lot of the time.
So I've been involved in, a little background here. Of course, this has always interested me. The subject. I was brought up a Christian. My buddy over here, he still calls himself a Christian. My buddy over here, I kind of question that sometimes, but it's okay.
Yeah.
But he's Kevin is one of those guys.
One big question mark.
His practice of Christianity is the kind of practice, if you will, that would actually attract you to the belief system. So he is a wonderful man. But he, as I said, he has all these dolls. Now I never knew until I got involved with Kevin that there's so many people that have haunted dolls. And I'll let Kevin tell you a little bit about this. But these dolls have these little spirits attached to them. Give her a rundown real quick, Kevin, as to what you believe about that. Can you hear me?
Haunted dolls, but a lot of people, when they think of haunted dolls, first they think, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. A lot of people think, when they think of haunted dolls, they think, evil, Chucky, things like that. And I mean, demons can use things like dolls as conduits, but I also believe that positive spirits can use them as well. In fact, most of the ones I have are positive spirits, either the spirits of people who have owned them before they died. I have several dolls to the children who actually haunt them now. They actually own the dolls in life. And either it's something familiar to them, so they stick around it, or It reminds them of something in their life, so they hang around it. They just feel safe around it. But I don't believe they're actually inside the doll. People talk about dolls getting up and running around like Chucky, and I think they actually haunt the dolls like they would a house. They're just around it. They're not trapped inside it. Some people say, the soul is trapped inside the doll. No, that I don't believe they're trapped. I think they can come and go whenever they want to. They just hang around it and haunt it like they would a place.
So when he's dealing,
and that's what I believe anyway.
Okay. So when he's dealing with these entities, spirits, whatever, that are attached to these dolls, uh, it's usually in the form of a child that died or of tragedy or something, and that was the child's doll, and that's where these dolls came from, if I understand it correctly. And so he's not really dealing with ancestors like you are speaking of, but it's still speaking to the other realm. What you're presenting, and I'm doing a virtual seance tomorrow night. We talked about that a little bit, because I think no matter how you go, we're dealing with energy. And you said that you agree with that.
I agree with that.
The throwing the bones ends up ultimately simply being a tool. Correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's a tool for the ancestors to use. Mm-hmm.
So the next step I want to go to, and so you've got, let's say, 20 of these artifact bones and whatever else you got in there with it. And do you have a special cloth that you're throwing them on? Is there a special way, or do you just do it on the ground or on a table? Do you have to, how do you?
I have a special mat. I actually have a couple of different mats for the different types of readings. There are a few different, in my book, I have 11 different readings that I teach. And I have different cloths for certain readings. They just have different markings on them. But it's not necessary to have those particular cloths. You could use pretty much anything. It's kind of considered disrespectful to put them on the ground, put them on like the floor. Now it's okay to put them on like the earth, like in sand or on dirt or something like that. But it's considered disrespectful to put them just on the floor. So you should always have a mat.
So you've got whatever. How do you choose how many you're going to throw? Is that based on what you're seeking? I mean, it's like, oh, I feel like throwing 200 bones today because no, today I don't feel like I have to pick up 200 bones, so I'm only going to do 20.
Well, it just depends on what the questioner wants, what the query wants. Usually, if it's a general reading, I throw all 200, and some of them, it's called speaking. Some of them speak, and some of them do not. And
what do you mean by that?
Flipped over.
What do you mean?
If they're flipped over, if they're turned upside down, they're considered silent and they're not speaking. If they're flipped upright, they're considered speaking. That's the difference between the two. So when you throw them, not all of them are speaking. Not all of them are being read. Some of them are upside down and they don't get read.
Okay, so if you throw all 200 bones, you're going to isolate the ones that are turned right side up. They're the ones that's telling you something. The other ones that are turned the other way are like, okay, you don't want to talk, I'm dismissing you.
Yes, there's a few exceptions, but most of the time, that's the way it works.
All right.
Yeah.
So how do you choose again? You said most of the time you do 200 bones. What would make you choose not to use 200 bones? I guess is where I'm trying to figure out.
If someone wanted a relationship reading, just on, some kind of relationship, it doesn't have to be a love relationship. It could be a friend relationship or whatnot. But if someone wanted a relationship reading, I would tend to pull out the subject pieces that regard the relationship. There are different pieces that stand for like commitment, friendship, not friendship. There's just different pieces that would apply, and I would pull those out and just throw those bones in particular. I usually throw at least 60 bones. I don't usually go under 60 because the more that you throw, the more information you get.
So, how many years you been doing this?
About almost 10.
10 years. So I assume that no matter what training you had, you still learned a lot through your experience.
Oh yes, you learn a lot through experience, and a lot of it's based on intuition.
So and you also teach this. It's not just a matter of you do it for people.
I teach it. I teach beginner, intermediate, and advanced classes, which are on my website. And usually I have bone kits that people purchase that goes along with it. It's not required, but
Right.
it makes the class flow a little easier. So I do. I've been teaching now for about 2 years. And I also hold workshops. I'm not doing that right now, obviously, because of COVID that's out, but I hold workshops and classes that are live. And right now, everything's done by video.
Okay. Now, so you have gotten it together, and whatever prompts you, you've thrown 200 bones. Somebody has, you prefer to do this in person, I understand. In other words, you would
Yeah,
prefer
I
in
prefer to
person.
do it, or even video.
Okay. So you throw the 200 bones. 75 of them are right side up. The other are saying, we don't want to talk. So you isolate those 75. And
Right.
you've got this, all your mats have diagrams on it. Stone falls here. You get this outline. How does this work?
It depends on the type of reading it is. There are different types of readings. For instance, the sun cross reading has quadrants that if a bone lands in a particular quadrant of the mat, then it means something in particular. But a general reading is just a plain mat. You throw the bones. You start off with what's called the self piece, which represents the querent. And then you move to the starter piece, which is just your starting point. It's because you've got so many bones, you have to have a place to start. And then there's a couple other pieces that you might move to that kind of tell what the reading is about. And then you start covering all the subjects. There are subject pieces, so you read what's around the subject. And then at the end, you fill in the blanks with the details. It sounds a little confusing, but it really isn't once you see it. It's mostly the bones land in clusters, and so you just kind of follow the clusters and read what's around different subjects.
So if more bones fall as a cluster on this spot right here, does that mean that that's more of a definitive answer than where you've just got one bone falling on this other spot?
Yes. If you have a large cluster of bones, that means a lot is going on with that particular subject. And sometimes the subjects are mixed together in that cluster and are all related together. So it just depends on how they fall.
And then you, the experienced bone thrower of bones, based on your experience and your intuition, are able to divine what is being communicated from these.
Correct.
Okay.
Through the ancestors. The ancestors influence my reading. I use the ancestors. I'm just the tool.
So you're almost also a spirit medium.
Kind of. I mean, that's a way to put it. That's probably a good way to explain it to people, sort of a medium. But yeah, I'm just the tool. Basically, the ancestors are speaking. They're just speaking through me and my intuition. And once you start reading, it just kind of flows together. It just flows together. As long as you're open up to what the ancestors are saying, it just flows.
All right. So we're gonna use Kevin over here as a guinea pig as we step through this next part. Kevin, are you ready? Did he freeze again? No. Kevin hadn't.
Okay.
He's had some allergy problems today, I think.
Oh.
So he's got all these dolls. And let's say that somebody that
Hello.
he just acquired a new doll. In what you do, can you specifically reach out to the spirit that's attached to that doll?
It's possible. It's possible. I've never experienced or had the opportunity to do that before, but it's very possible. I've had the experience of reaching out to my querent ancestors because their ancestors also influence the reading. So it's like you're speaking not only to my ancestors, but you're speaking to their ancestors as well. So I've never had that opportunity, but that would be something interesting to try for sure.
All right. Now, what do you get asked for the most? Is it relationship issues, or I want to see if my grandmother who passed away 5 years ago is okay in the other room? What do you get asked for the most?
Money and love.
Money and love.
Money and love. It's all
All right.
money and love. Yep.
Well,
Money and
I'm
love.
out.
It's usually
I'm out.
love, but
I'm out for the money, and he's out for the love. I'm out for the.
I wouldn't mind having money.
I like
Now
both.
that you got
So,
that,
I don't discriminate.
pardon?
I like both. I don't discriminate.
That's it. That's it. So Kevin, what do you think? Do you have a particular? Would Lisa, are you in a position to do a sample reading now? Lisa, are you in a position?
I could. I could. I just need to grab them real quick.
Okay, while you're doing that, Kevin, do you have a particular doll that you would like to bring in front of you and have her experiment?
Okay, yeah, I can get one.
Get one that's got a great story behind it.
I can get one.
Yeah, would that be fun? All right.
All right.
So, Catherine, I brought you back on. If you can hear me, I'm going to let you join in on this. This is going to be fun, right here.
This will be different. It'll take me just a second to set up.
We got an hour and a half and longer if we need it. I think this is neat. What can I say? So anyway, everybody, this is Abnormal Alabama, and also My Haunted Dolls. I assume this has been shared all over the internet, and I hope a lot of people are watching and enjoying this.
I've shared it everywhere.
I'm responding to something here while they're getting set up.
All right, I'm back.
All right. So who we got, Kevin? Tell us who we got. What doll did you bring?
Should I?
Just show it to us.
Should I show the doll, or is that?
Yeah, just show the doll.
Okay, I have Patty.
You've
There
got
you go.
Patty. Okay. I'm going to write Patty's name down
I
on
have
a piece
Patty.
of paper
She's
and put it on the
First, okay,
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do real quick.
okay.
It's 7:30. This is Abnormal Alabama. We're doing something very unique and very interesting here. I'm going to take us two off and let you two have the screen, okay? But I want to tell everybody this is a bone throwing experiment. We have Lisa Luna on with us, and she's written the book on this subject. We've never had a bone thrower that I know of, nobody that would admit to it anyway. So this is going to be exciting as she goes through this process. I can't wait to see how it turns out. So Kevin, you're going to be dealing directly with her. We're going to disappear over here while you're doing this. Please take your time and make it as informative as we can get. Now what doll you got again?
Patty.
Patty, that's right. Okay.
Patty.
So now
Okay, how do you spell Patty's name?
I'm sorry?
How do you spell Patty's name? Because I have to put it under the map.
How do you spell Patty's name?
It's P. Oh, it's P-A-T-T.
Pattie, did you say?
Is he froze over there again?
It's P-A-T.
Y?
It's with a Y.
Okay.
It's with a Y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yes.
all right. Guys, this is a first. I don't know if this has ever been done before by anybody. Okay. So,
I've never done it before.
yeah, I don't know if this has ever been tried before. Now, Kevin, a little background here. You have done an EVP session before. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Was it a very active session? Is this a very active doll?
Yes.
All right. Last year,
Yeah, I've gotten EVPs without.
is that one of the two dolls that moved during our show?
No.
Okay. Lisa, remind me to share that video we had live streamed over a year ago from my office. And during the middle of the show, two of his dolls moved.
Oh my goodness.
So,
That's very, and you have it on video.
yes. Yeah, I'll share that with you. Okay, folks, this is Lisa. She is the bone thrower. For your information, she is the author of that book right there, Throwing the Bones. And she would love for you to pre-purchase that book. She's going, I think she said, a couple of edits she wants to do, but it'll be available and at your door shortly. So keep that in mind, because this is a unique subject in all the world of paranormal that I've been around. Kevin, have you run across anybody else that's into the throwing the bones?
No.
So this is a very unique situation. So share this as it's going along, because we have, I call her the bone thrower, Lisa, who's going to do something that may have never been done before, and that is trying to divine something from this doll that Kevin is holding right there. I'm going to venture out of here, and we're going to leave it to you guys. Take your time. I'm going to refresh my drink and enjoy watching you two guys. I'll be in the background.
Okay, so the first thing that I've done is I have put Patty's name underneath the throwing mat that I'm using. The next thing I'm going to do is cleanse the bones. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say somewhat of like a prayer over the bones to get in touch with my ancestors and my spirit guides.
Okay.
Now, what I've done is I've tried to contact with Patty. I asked for my spirit guides and my ancestors to help me contact with Patty to see if she has anything to say. And what I'm going to do now is I've already thrown the bones. I'm going to move them 3 times counterclockwise. And I'm going to start looking. And it'll take me just a minute to kind of get a feel for what's going on. Okay, so it starts off with the starter piece. The starter piece shows a lot of nourishment, that she gets a lot of nourishment and love. Also, that her psychic energy is very high. but there's something that's holding back some of that psychic energy right now. So she needs to release. It looks like something that's been bothering her. It looks like something that like would keep you awake at night, something that's troubling her. We may reveal what that is as we go through the reading. But her psychic energy is very high right now. She's just having some things holding her back. So as we move around, we see that Patty is somewhat of a trickster. She likes to play little tricks and little games. She sees things as they are. She sees them for what they are. She's not in denial about anything. She sees things for what they are. Her energy goes through many transitions, not just on one level of energy. She starts here, she goes up here, she goes up here, just depending on her mood and her connection with the doll. It looks like she's got some internal healing to do. That might be what's holding her back from some of her psychic abilities. Because like I said, they're very strong. There's another bone that has come up showing how strong they are. Her ancestors are facing outward, which means she needs to do some work with her ancestors. She needs to get in contact with her ancestors and speak to them and talk to them and get advice from them. One thing that you can do for her is you can set up a little altar for her. Just a simple candle will suffice, and put an offering out. And because how old is Patty?
She's 7.
She's 7. So she would like little candy and sweets and things like that. So what you can do is put offerings of candies and sweets and maybe a little toy or something like that. Light a candle for her. So that way she can get in touch with her ancestors.
Now, Kevin.
Let me see what else we have.
Kevin, when you put the sweets out there, you can't eat them. That's for her.
That's true. You can't eat them. You can't eat them.
No, I'm not going to eat them.
They're not for you. They're for Patty. One thing that you need to know whenever you do put the offering out, leave it out for a few days, and then you'll want to go do a ceremonial burial. All you have to do is just go say a little prayer or something, and to whatever deity. You said you're a Christian, so go say a prayer to God, bury the offering, and let the earth take the offering, but let it sit there for a few days first.
Okay.
So it looks like she's got something that's really big that she wants to share with the world. Something huge. It's something she's been holding on to for quite a long time, and it's been building up. And she would like to share that. So maybe doing another, you said you do EVP sessions with her?
Yes. It's been a long time since I've done one, but
she's got something big that she wants to share. So my advice would be to do another EVP session with her. I would do the offerings first, and then a couple days later do the EVP session, because there's something huge she wants to share. And it's going to bring, it looks like it's going to bring a lot of healing into the world. So that's the big thing I think she wants to share. It's going to bring clarity. You will personally have clarity. Let me see what else we have here. Yes, it looks like she's on a spiritual journey, and that's what she wants to share, is that she has gone on a spiritual journey, it's a level 6, which is a level 6 is very high. I use a dice to determine what level, what strength something is. If it was a level 1, it would be low, but this is a level 6. So the journey that she has been on, the spiritual journey, is very high. So that's the big thing that she wants to share. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, the black cat bone is very prominent, and a black cat bone is very, very lucky. That's the luckiest piece that you can get out of the whole couple hundred that I have sitting here. The black cat bone is very lucky, and she's got that. It's prominent, so she's very lucky. This journey she went on was a happy journey, so your EVP session is going to be positive. And like I said, it's going to bring you personally, Kevin, and it's going to bring you clarity to some things. So definitely I would do that. I would, like I said, do the offerings first, wait a few days, bury the offerings, and then do the EVP session with her. And I'm curious as to what happens, so you'll have to let me know what comes out of it.
Okay.
Let me see what else. Yeah, and it looks like also that her spiritual journey is going to help you, Kevin, in guiding you through some kind of a journey. So that's the big thing that she wants to discuss with you. Spiritual journey. So that's pretty much what I have, and it looks like you're really in tune spiritually, but that you need to do a little bit more work with God. You need to do a little bit more work. So she's kind of guiding you in that direction, and that might be what your journey is going to be, is to get more in touch with your spirituality. So
okay,
that's pretty much what I have. That's what I have.
All right, so Kevin, now
well, thank you. That was awesome.
I got to interview you, Kevin. Now that you've heard that, let's talk about what she said, how you feel about it, what you got out of it, how can you relate it to where you are. Did any of that make sense to you?
Okay. Yeah, it did.
When I'm hearing it, what I know that, something, it sounded like Lisa was saying that Patty has been something troubling her, blocking her abilities or whatever. And that to me, when Kevin sold his garden house and bought this humongous property, he put, because he was scared that the people that was buying his house would see all these dolls and freak out. He put them in cold storage.
Uh-oh.
And I told him that these dolls are going to get pissed.
Not cold storage. It was climate controlled storage.
That's what was holding her back. That's what was holding her back. Oh my goodness. You held her back.
He neglected her for weeks on end.
Oh, come on now. My control, I had the house ready for sale, and if you watched my video from this last weekend, I asked during the spirit box if they were mad at me about that, and they said no.
Well, is it possible that Patty just kind of didn't want to hurt you? That she's maybe a little bit more upset than what she would admit to?
Well, that's possible. I don't know.
They're
usually pretty straightforward. They don't usually.
Kevin's got
it was just holding her back.
What's that, Lisa?
It was just something that was holding her back. It was just something that was holding her back. It wasn't necessarily that she was mad or upset, but it was something that was holding her back psychically, her psychic abilities, something that was holding her back. So it doesn't necessarily mean she was angry with him. It just means that she was being stifled.
So simply by being in storage could stifle her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
And what else did you get out of this reading? Was there anything else you could connect with in this reading?
But you know what, though? I'm sitting here talking about this, and she was never in storage. She actually stayed in the house the whole time.
Oh, really? Okay.
I kept a few dolls in the house. So actually, she was not in storage. But maybe she missed her spirit family because they were all in storage.
Okay. Is there any other part of this reading that you can connect with, that you pull something directly from?
I mean, the spiritual thing, definitely doing a little bit more, because I've been for weeks now, kind of questioning myself on that, because the COVID-19 that keeps you from being able to go to church and all that stuff. So it's not really like I probably shouldn't be as hard on myself about it, but I'm kind of questioning what I do in the situation that we're in. So as far as, making sure I get a better relationship with God. So that kind of hit a note with me there.
Well, see, I knew that you've been chewing too much tobacco and drinking too much Jägermeister.
No, I have not. I don't drink all that much.
As he turns his cups up.
Wait a
Here you
minute.
go, Kevin. I got my red cup.
I'm drinking mine too.
So, Kevin, do you feel like that was a worthwhile endeavor that we just went through? He's cracking up.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I enjoyed it. I really liked it. I think it's amazing.
Okay, so keep in mind that he usually charges for that.
That was a short version. That was a very short version. A lot of my readings last for at least 20 minutes. So that was the quickie.
Oh, that was real good. You discerned a lot out of that. How many bones did you just throw?
Quickie.
I threw them all. I went ahead and threw them all, but there were only certain ones that drew my attention. As I was reading, I'm sorry?
Is there any way you can tilt your phone down to show your tablet to show us what you've done there?
Probably. Let me see what I can do here. It's going to get a little crooked, but we'll see.
That's okay. We're all crooked, so.
Let me see if I can turn it around here.
Oh, I'm getting dizzy. Okay, look at that, Kevin. Look, that's where she got all that information right there.
Wow.
Now, see, if I saw that,
Wow.
if I'd seen that, I would have said, "Where's my broom and dustpan?"
That's what.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
I'm curious as on a human.
thank you for doing that.
What?
I'm curious
you're
about
welcome.
a human.
Oh, she wants you to do it. Can you? Would you mind doing that for Catherine? A short reading.
I wouldn't mind at all.
Okay.
Let me get this set right back.
All right. So Kevin and I are going to disappear so we can drink. Kevin, don't go away, but we're going to take ourselves off screen.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I've got to cleanse them first. So let me do that.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm just going to make a real quick couple of little commercials right here. So take your time. And somebody's commented up in the chat box there, Catherine, if you can help out there. Now, Lisa, here is my favorite little video. Look at this little video right.
That's fabulous.
Okay. All right, just let her know. Just let her know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready. I just need to know the name of the person. Is it going to be for her or is it going to be for someone else?
For me, it's Catherine with a
Okay.
C.
Okay. All right, I'm going to put you underneath the mat. I've already cleansed the bones. We'll do a general, which means it kind of, unless you have a particular question, we'll do a general, which kind of covers a few different things.
General's fine.
Okay. Do you have a significant other?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to keep that piece in there. All right, I'm going to pray over the bones. Okay, now I'm spreading them out. Okay, so let me take a look here what we have. Okay, at the starter piece, we have that you work very, very hard, that you're a very hard worker, sometimes work too hard, which holds you back from doing other things. It shows great abundance, though, although working will sometimes constrict you. This reading is from now until 4 weeks. So this is a current reading and it extends into 4 weeks, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so busyness is going on as far as work is concerned. You're gonna feel a little overworked at some point, and it's gonna make you feel like you're constricted. It's gonna hold you back from other things. Just kind of take it one step at a time, eat the elephant, one bite at a time, because right outside of that, it shows that everything is gonna run nice and smoothly. So the next thing we go to is we go into something that's called the bracelet, which is kind of like a major aspect in your life. And it looks like that you've got great communication skills, in abundance. You have a message that's going to be coming to you. It's regarding something that you're trying to manifest in your life. Let me see here. Okay, that lucky bone that I was talking about, the luckiest bone that's in the whole throw, is in the middle of the bracelet. So what you are going to be manifesting, you're going to be extremely lucky with it. It looks like it's going to have something to do possibly with your family. Let me see, I've got to find the Herkimer diamond. There's the Herkimer, okay? You see things all the way around. You don't see things straight forward, but you can see things all the way around. You don't miss anything. You're very aware of your surroundings. There is something new that's popping up, some kind of a new little project that's popping up. It's going to at first cause you to not sleep well, but it's not showing that it's going to be like nightmares or anything like that. It's not a bad thing. It's just something that it has to do with your work situation, being so busy. You're going to feel a little overwhelmed. So like I said, though, just kind of kick back, eat the elephant, do one bite at a time, and you'll be fine because it shows smooth sailing. So let's see, we'll go to friends next. Okay, in the friends area, it shows that you have a lot of great fortune with friends and luck with friends. You're very loyal to your friends. You're trusting to some of them. It looks like you kind of have to build your trust. You have to build up for you to get trust. Your spirit guide is watching over you and your friends right now. So that's really good, over your friendships. Now we'll go to home and hearth, which is a little different from family. Family is more like the people in your family, and home and hearth is like the physical where you live. So in the next month, it's going to be very peaceful at your home, but you're going to go through some kind of transitions, which probably has to do with the thing that I was talking about with your family, manifesting something over there. So you're going to go through some transitions. Use your instincts, because your instincts are very good. So don't doubt yourself. Use your instincts whenever that comes up, and you will be just fine. You'll be in need of a little bit of help. Accept that help. Don't feel like you have to do anything on your own. It doesn't look like it's a major situation. I don't see anything. It doesn't look bad at all. Matter of fact, the elephant piece is right next to it, which shows, which means good memories of the past that you use for the present. So you will use your past memories that are good for the present situation that is coming up. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Your health, look at your health. Your health looks like it's going to be really good for the next 4 weeks. So that's a good thing. Your work, let's see, work once again shows that you're very busy. Matter of fact, the work piece, and I wish I could show it to you, but the work piece is right next to the starter piece. When I started in the beginning and said that you were very busy, your work is going to get busier. So just kind of be prepared for that. Don't, like I said, don't feel overwhelmed. Just take it one thing at a time. Your finances, let me see here. Well, it's hiding from us. There they are. Your finances are going to be nice and stable for the next 4 weeks. So just keep that in mind. But it does show that you need to save some for later, not to just spend. You need to make sure you save something for later to keep your finances stable. Okay.
Okay.
Love and romance. Let's see here. Oh, love and romance. You have all kinds of stuff around love and romance. You've got loyalty. You've got trust. You've got wishes. The goddess is watching over you, which basically means, I don't know who you pray to, but your deity that you pray to is watching over you when it comes to your relationship. There's a lot of power there. Victory is there. Something new is going to pop up there, which tends to, it ties back into that family situation that I spoke with you earlier about, remember?
Okay.
So something new is going to pop up. And it looks like that's where you're going to need the human. I have a couple human bones in my bone collection, and the human phalange stands for helping hand. So that's who you're going to get your help from, is your significant other. You'll feel like things are scattered a little bit, but they're not. Just kind of relax. And there's a lot of comfort there with your significant other. There's a lot of luck there. If you have any issues at all that pop up, they're going to just smooth right over. They're going to smooth right over. Just, just relax with it. If you two get into a little fuss about something, it's not going to be major. It's just going to be little, and it'll pass. There's a lot of comfort over the next few weeks for you. So it also shows that you're going to be going on some kind of a journey internally regarding your family. So be aware of that. That probably has to do with whatever the change is going to be.
It's going to be something that you're going to use internally, that you're going to experience, internally. So, but it shows victory. It shows victory. So the next one is spirit guides. We've already covered that. Okay, so now your ancestors aren't real happy with you right now because you haven't been talking to them. So it shows that you need to talk to your ancestors more. Do like how I was suggesting to Kevin, and do maybe light a candle for them, give them an offering. One of the things that you can do as a general offering for ancestors is whiskey and tobacco. You can get a cigar and one of those little bottles of whiskey at the state store and put that up there, and that's absolutely perfectly fine. Or if there's a particular ancestor that you knew and you knew what they liked in real life when they were alive, that's the same thing that they'll like in death, and you can offer that to them as well. But if there's somebody that you can't think of, a general offering would be whiskey and tobacco. So you would do the same thing. You would light the candle, you would put the offering up there, you would speak to your ancestors, just kind of talk to them, ask them for guidance, thank them for the guidance they have given you. And then in a few days, you will want to take that outside and pour it and offer it to the earth. So then the ancestors will be looking on you favorably, because right now they're facing outward. So yeah, so that's pretty much covers it. That's a quick version of a general reading. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that.
I did enjoy that. Thank you very much.
So just like I did with Kevin, what did you get at? Do you feel that it was a good read for what you're going through and where you are?
Yes, I did. So here, work's been kind of slow because of the COVID-19 thing, and looks like I'm going to be getting busy.
Okay. And first, Lisa, thank you for taking the time to do that. I kind of threw that on you, and but everybody watching this gives you just a little sampling of what she does. You could almost compare it to tarot card reading, the way she does it, but she's not reading tarot cards, she's reading bones. And so it's a very ancient practice. And again, I want to bring your attention to her book, which will be available, I think, correct me, Lisa, but I think it's in a pre-order stage, you said?
It is. I have pre-sales up right now for a discounted price on my website.
Okay, so
and
the website I've got here?
Mid-July. The website you have there, you can pre-order it, yes.
Okay.
And it's at a discounted price.
Now, as time progresses, let's be clear on a couple of things. She teaches this. She also sells, along with her book, a throwing the bone kit. So to get you started, if you want to get involved in this, and I think, Lisa, if I'm correct, you'd like to see more people get involved in it.
Absolutely. It's a lost art that I'm trying to bring, back into the public eye again, and it's beautiful. That's just a little sampling of a reading. Readings, a lot of times, the thing about bones is it's more personal than tarot or oracle. It's just more personal because you're speaking with your ancestors and your Aquarius ancestors, and the bones mean something different to everybody, and it's your own personal thing. So that's what I really like about it. And like I said, that's just a little sample of a reading. Readings usually last about 15 to 20 minutes for a short reading. They can go up to 2 hours sometimes. It just depends. Like I said, I have about 200 pieces here. And if I went through every one of them, we would be here for quite some time. So, because there were a lot that were speaking, I just picked out the highlights. So.
Okay. And I believe that Catherine and Kevin both were very pleased with the reading, from what I get.
I'm very pleased.
All right. We are at
yeah.
8:06. Yes. We're into our second hour here. This is Abnormal Alabama. This is being streamed on, of course, Abnormal Alabama Facebook. It's being streamed on Abnormal Alabama YouTube. I don't know where all you guys have shared it. And there's also a watch party going on. So we got a few people watching this. And of course, it'll be archived on all these places. You can find it anytime on our YouTube channel. And probably be easier to find it on the YouTube channel than Facebook, because we constantly post stuff and it'll disappear down our timeline. Kevin, I'm going to spend a minute here, Lisa. Don't go anywhere. I'm not through with you, but we're going to talk about a couple of things here real quick. Kevin, bring out your book and tell us about your book, My Haunted Dolls. Kevin Kane, his latest book is also on audio. In fact, he's got, I think, 2 books on audio now. So I have to promote Kevin. Go ahead.
Well, I don't have the physical books here, but I can bring it up on my little screen here. My latest book, Crimson the Blood Painting, novel based on a haunted painting in my collection that came from Salem, Massachusetts. The story behind it was so creepy, I just had to write a novel about it. So be sure to check that out at myhaunteddolls.com, or go to Amazon or Books A Million, Barnes & Noble. You can find copies of my books there. They're also on Kindle, ebook, and Crimson is also available on audiobook performed by Lynn R. Thomas. And it's on Amazon, Audible, or iTunes. You can also get my book, Legends of Indian Narrows, on audiobook, where I tell the stories about my neighborhood that I grew up in and the ghost stories there, including my childhood home that had some spirit activity and is what got me interested in the paranormal to begin with. So check those out, myhaunteddolls.com, to My Haunted Dolls, Kevin Kane. More subscribers. I've got over 1,000 now, but can't have too many. So check that out.
We worked for over a year to get Kevin up to over 1,000 YouTube subscribers. And a few short weeks ago, he finally made it. So he succeeded. Now, Kevin, a while ago, you brought out Patty. And Lisa did a reading on the spirit that's attached to Patty. Isn't Patty in one of your books?
Yeah, I've got 2 books of Patty. Well, my book, My Haunted Collection, tells about Patty's story. She's the first ever haunted doll or haunted item that I've actually owned. And her story was so precious. I wrote a novel. My first haunted doll novel, it's called Patty Doll, is based on her story. Even has her on the front cover. So that's out there in paperback and on ebook. And it's a fictional story based on her true story, but it's a novel. And probably the thickest novel I've written so far. So check that out too.
So I think, Lisa, that you see that Patty is very special to Kevin.
See that.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I'm glad I got to meet you.
there you go. So maybe one day, she's going to be in town tomorrow, by the way, Kevin. And
Oh, okay.
so one of her trips, she lives over in Atlanta, but one of her trips over, maybe you can get her to come over to your house and overwhelm her with all your haunted items.
That would be great.
Yeah. I've got a lot
That
of
would be
them.
fantastic.
Okay. Now, so you can learn all about Kevin at myhauntedDolls.com. You can learn about his books, and you can buy them directly off his website and so forth. What is that one? What's that?
That was the Patty Doll cover.
Okay.
There
Now,
we go.
Abnormal Alabama. Wow. Abnormal Alabama. Keep in mind, her book's coming out real soon. I've got some books out. Kevin's got books out. You can order all these, like he said, Books a Million, Amazon.com. But if you buy directly from us, two things happen. Number one, we make more money. And number two, because we make more money, we will autograph it for you. Okay? Now, Kevin will even send you an 8x10 glossy photo with his signature on it, personally autographed. I used to do that until I found out what people were doing with my pictures, and I stopped. So, so
I'll send a rare picture of myself too, if y'all want one.
abnormalalabama.com, Abnormal Alabama on YouTube. Join us on Facebook, Abnormal Alabama. We've got a fun group over there. We share all kind of quirky things. Some of them are not even exactly paranormal. Some of them are strange, but we keep it entertaining. We have fun with it. We're non-judgmental. How could we be judgmental? We got Kevin Kane with us. Jeez. So now, Lisa, and I've been keeping her website right there, AtalantaMoonfire.com. Her name is Lisa Luna. Go ahead and get with her about pre-ordering her book right there. That's a neat cover. I like the cover of that book. So you've got right here in your book, you got 3 published authors. We need to go on tour together, guys.
We do.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
So we could have some fun with that too. So support starving authors. I know that you look at Kevin and I and say, how can y'all be starving because you're so fat? But it takes a lot to feed these big bellies, right? We require more food.
Speak for yourself.
All right. So we got about 45 minutes for to keep rolling with this. Lisa, you want to hang?
Yeah, I'll stick around.
Okay. So let's change the subject a minute because you're sitting in front of an apothecary back there. And I'm not sure whether I really want to know what kind of witch's brew you've got. Do you have like rat's feet and bat wings and what else you got back there?
I do have some animal parts back here on this side. All of this over here is all herbs. This is all herbs. But right about in this area, there's a couple animal parts over here.
So she's got her own oddity store right behind you. I begin to think Lisa's like one-stop shopping. She can tell your future. She can cure your ailments. Now you got a new thing to put on your resume, your bio. She is a professional doll reader with bones.
That's right. I've never done that before. That was fun.
Everybody, y'all need to share this video because I'm telling you that has never in the history of throwing bones, that's never been done before. I'm telling you, this is a first.
Yeah.
I'm psychic, so I'm looking at Lisa and she's sitting there thinking, "Ooh, another book."
I think you're right.
She's also thinking Kelsey's full of shit. All right. Fascinating. And when I learned this, and Don is the one that contacted me and said, "Hey, I got this lady." He didn't tell me anything about the bones. He said tarot card reader. I don't think he said anything about bones. And then she called me today and she said, "I throw bones." And I thought, what do you throw them at? So anyway, I've known about throwing bones, but I've never known anybody that does it at the level that she does it, and I find it just totally fascinating. Um, so with the apothecary, you do what you just did. You train people to do what you just did, and you sell kits along with your book to get people started doing what you just did. Right now, because
Right.
of the COVID-19, like the rest of us, you're doing most of everything in a virtual setting instead of face to face.
Right.
Now, would
Yes.
you, given the
Oh, go
right
ahead.
given the right opportunity in a small setting, like a parlor, living room setting, would you be willing to meet with a small group of people, like 10 or 12, and do what you do?
Sure, absolutely. As long as we took precautions, you know, I have no issues with that at all.
Okay,
And
so
on my website,
go ahead.
on the website, there's a section, there's a under services, you can find a little section where you can email me about that.
Okay. So clearly, as you see, she will do your readings just like she did here. That was just a sampling. Really appreciate you doing that. I'm not going to let you do mine. And because I know what my skeleton bones will tell you, and that's my secret. No. Okay.
They'll just explode, right? They'll just explode when I throw them.
And Kevin, shut up. Anyway, the bottom line is this has been a good thing. Her book's about to come out. I understand where I believe, Lisa, you're right on the precipice of just going full steam ahead with this.
I hope so. I hope so. I'm excited about it.
So, has this been a part-time gig for you, or has this been a full-time gig for you?
Over the last year, it's become full time.
Okay.
So it's really exploded over, especially the last few months, and it's fantastic. It's just I can't get enough of it. So
Great.
it's almost 24/7.
That's great. You know, given what's happened in the world this year, first of all, people's had a lot of time to sit and think, what the hell's going on? And it's opened up, and there's a silver lining to this cloud. And if you listen to the readings she just did for Kevin and Catherine, there was some good positive things came out of there. Kevin initially, right to it, he said the big thing was like, you're right, I hadn't been to church. I don't have a relationship with my God like I should. So it's kind of like an awakening for him. And the same with the reading you did for Catherine, I think. So you walk away with something very positive, and that's a wonderful thing. And to see someone like yourself be able to do this full time has got to be awesome as well. Now, I want to go back to all this apothecary that you got behind you. What are you doing with that? Do you sell these items? Do you also teach that? If somebody calls up and says, Lisa, I've got an earache, do you say, oh, I've got just a thing for you, stick this bat wing in your ear? What do you do?
Yeah, I stick a back wing right there. No, I don't know how many I have, herbs I have, but I have a database that I keep every single herb I have is in that database. And if any of my family call me or my friends call me and they say, you know, I have a stomach ache or I have an earache or I have a cough or whatnot, I can go straight to the database, punch it in, and it pulls up everything, teas, tinctures, different things that I can make for them that will help ease that rather than using pharmaceuticals. It's an alternative to using pharmaceuticals.
So, folks, she is in all reality a true witch, in the truest sense of the word. And I know that you have the Halloween version. Do you have one of the hats, and do you ride a broom?
I have a hat. We call them besoms. They're called besoms instead of brooms, but
I have one of those too.
that's my mini. That's my mini besom.
Okay, I've got to see you ride that. That's all I can say. Okay. um, Kevin, don't even think about it. You and I are way a little bit too much to even would break the broom. Okay, so just get it off your mind.
It'll
Speak for
carry you.
yourself.
It'll carry you.
All right. Okay, so you actually sell some of the. Do you put that stuff together yourself? I keep talking about bat wings,
The
but
herbal.
you've got herbs.
Oh, so that way I don't sell them. I just do them. I don't sell any of this. I just do this for friends and family if they need it. For myself, just if they need it, that's what it's there for. Now I do use this magically as well. I use a lot of these herbs for spells and for ritual. So, but they're all edible. I get them all from different farms and stuff like that. They're all clean, so I can use them either medicinally or magically. So, but I use them for both. I don't sell them though.
I got you. Okay, now, do you have an altar in your house?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4, 5. I have 5 altars in my house.
So you have feng shuied your altars throughout your house.
I have an altar for everything.
So when you pick a place for your altar, what draws you to the location where you would build an altar, where you would set up an altar?
Well, it just depends on the room. The main part about the altar is with me, when I am doing ritual or doing anything magically, you normally face north. Some people face east, but normally you face north. So I've got my altar set where it's facing north. My working altar, there's different types of altars that I have, but my working altar where I do my magical work is facing north. And that is just out of convenience. So you do something called calling in the circle and the elements, and I won't go into that because it's just it's complicated. But anyway, so the altar is facing north. You want to try to get it facing in that direction if you can. The other altars are for different things. I have one for divination, which is like what I just did, the bones. I have an ancestral altar for my ancestors, and then I have a healing altar. Those are all faced in different directions where I could find them in the house, but my working altar faces north.
Okay. So you make yourself available through your website to do right now again virtual readings, just like you did for these guys. When we're away from this pandemic and things are opened up in a very safe way, I'm sure you would travel. Of course, expenses paid, right? You would serve people accordingly. Right now, for very small, intimate groups, in a situation to where maybe everybody wears a mask and they're socially distanced, you would meet with a small group of people and do this now.
I would. And also I can do multiple people virtually as well. I can do workshops virtually with multiple people if they prefer that right now.
Okay.
But yes, I wouldn't mind meeting with small groups as long as everyone took precautions, wore masks, social distancing, etc. I wouldn't mind doing that at all.
So, if you don't mind, do you have a kind of a price structure on your website?
I do. I have the services section of my website explains all the different services I do, which are the readings, the teaching the classes, the virtual classes. There's a price structure as far as teaching workshops and classes in person. It depends on where I'm going, the distance that I'm traveling as to whether or not expenses are paid. and there's different prices. I work that out with either the coven or the metaphysical store or the group. Sometimes even bachelorette parties will do reading parties. So yeah, it just depends on the individual or the group and what they want as far as the price structure is concerned.
Okay. So right now in a virtual setting with a group of people, like you're doing like a class. What was the term you
Right.
used for that?
The workshop.
Workshop. Okay. So if a group of a few people wanted to get together and said, "Hey, what will you charge to do? What do you do? A 1 hour workshop? Do you break it down in 30-minute segments, or how do you do that?"
It's 2 hours. It's a 2
2
hour
hour.
workshop. If
And what do you
it's a 2
use?
hour workshop.
Use a platform like Zoom,
I'm
or
sorry.
do you use Zoom or a
I
platform?
do. I use Zoom. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
So
I suggest them buying the bone kit, but they don't have to have the bone kit.
okay,
It's easier if they have it, but they don't have to have the bone kit to be able to do the class.
gotcha. All right. So for anybody watching this, if you're interested in this, she's willing to do 2 hour workshops. Uh, you charge per person, or is there a minimum? How do you do that?
It's per person, and for like if I was doing a virtual one-on-one, it's $80, and that includes the deluxe kit that has all the bones in it. And what I do is I mail that ahead of time, and then we set up a time. I do 2-day priority mail, so within a week's time, we have our class set up and we're ready to do the class.
Okay.
If I'm doing a workshop with multiple people, the same thing can happen, but I have to get I have to get everybody online as far as when the class will be and get everybody on the same page. Yeah.
So
But if it's just that, like I said, the kit's optional. You don't have to have the kit.
okay. So for one person, $80. Is that for 2 hours or 1 hour? What?
For 2 hours, it's for 2 hours, and it's for a kit, for
Okay.
a bone kit that contains over 40 pieces.
So you got 6 people that want to do a group workshop for 2 hours. Does it drop in price individual, or is it still $80 per individual?
I would drop it in price. I would
Okay.
discuss it with whoever's wanting to put it together. We would definitely discuss it. Some of the people might want to buy the bone kit. Some people might not want to buy the bone kit. So we would need to get all of that straightened out, beforehand. And I definitely drop the prices drastically. Actually, if I get workshops and classes, I drop the price goes down drastically because it's not one-on-one. It's
Right.
it's a group of people. So
Okay.
it's still a great class. It's still
All right. There's no doubt in my mind just what we've done with our little group here. I'm very fascinated with it. So listen, everybody. You don't have to wait till this virus is gone. You've got some dead time. The Walmart's closing at 8:30, so you can't even go to Walmart after 8:30. But guess what? She's available after 8:30. So you got something you can do at 9 o'clock at night. But you got to schedule this in advance because there's a little preparatory work you have to do. Like, do you want the bone kit? If you've got 6 people involved, is everybody available at 7 o'clock on Tuesday night or whatever? You've got to work all those details out. So you need to start scheduling this now before she gets real busy. And I will tell you, do you get busier as you get close to Halloween?
Halloween is the witch's New Year, so yeah, we get real busy during Halloween. I get a lot. I'm usually booked up for the month of October with different activities and events. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm booked up so far this October, but I'm not sure what's going to happen because of COVID.
Right.
As far as I know, everything's still a go, but yeah, as Halloween comes near, we definitely get booked up pretty quick.
Okay. So you've got it, folks. She's available. This is her full-time gig. So keep that in mind. And this is a unique experience. Um, I don't know where you could go to find what you're going to be able to find with this lady here. I've never heard of anybody doing workshops on throwing bones. And as you go back, if you didn't get to see the whole program, go back earlier and you'll see she did a reading that's never been done before. A first right here with Kevin and Patty the doll. I'm guarantee you that nobody's ever thrown the bones for a doll and got a reading. And Kevin was sitting there saying, I saw his head going, yep, yep. And then, so she's very good at what she does. So I'm really pushing for you. When we talk later, I'm going to give you some ideas on getting yourself out even more. But we'll save that for another conversation. Now, again, this is Abnormal Alabama. We are at abnormalalabama.com, Abnormal Alabama Facebook, Abnormal Alabama YouTube. Please join us, subscribe to our channel. Go over to myhauntedDolls.com, My Haunted Dolls Kevin Kane over on YouTube and support him. And now we've got another party here at AtlantaMoonfire.com. Go support Lisa Luna and what she's doing. Compared to Kevin and I, she's a lot more easy on the eyes than we are. And so they get tired of looking at our ugly faces. But we really appreciate your being here. You started out, before you got into the bones, you did tarot card reading?
I did. When I was 25, 25 years old, I started doing tarot.
Do you still do the tarot card readings?
I do. I still do it. Every once in a while, I carry them with me. I carry my bones with me everywhere I go. You'll see whenever we meet up. Look at that. I've got mine. Wait a minute.
There you go. Let's see.
Bag.
Keep in mind, there you go. Kevin, mine's just sitting here at my desk, but Kevin's got that Christian thing going on. So when I show him this, he's doing like that.
Oh, no. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. That's okay. Whenever I read bones for people, what really freaks them out is whenever I mention that I have human bones in there too. And then they're like,
well, if I were to be the one throwing these bones, I'd want more human bones than any, because I would think the energy around those bones is more connected to the other realms than animal bones.
Yeah, you would think so. Well, they're very expensive though. But I do have a couple.
Lisa, not the way I get them.
Are you gonna hook me up with some human bones?
I got friends that work in the funeral business.
Oh my God.
Oh, goodness. All right, and you know, there's other ways to get human bones as well. So,
but that's another conversation, right?
but yeah, too many people listening right now. So, you've been reading bones for a decade, I think you said.
About 10 years.
You don't call it reading bones, you call it throwing bones.
Throwing the bones or casting bones. Mm-hmm.
Casting, that's the other one, casting bones, yeah. Nobody knows the true history of this. How far back have you been able to trace this practice?
Well, it's been practiced all over the world. The Vikings practiced it. I mean, it's thousands of years. They can't figure out who started it, because it's all over the different countries. Asia, Greece and Italy, they still practice throwing bones, but they're all different types. They're not the same. Like, some people throw dice, some people throw runes, some people do something called divination by scapula, which is where they heat turtle bone or turtle shells up until they crack, and then they read that. That's considering throwing bones. That's done in Asia. They just don't really know when it started because it's so old, and there's so many different countries that have practiced it, and so many different cultures have practiced it. Most people think it's just a hoodoo voodoo type thing, but it's not. It's practiced all over the world and has been for thousands of years. So that's a big misconception.
Do you think that the runes, and I've had runes, I've done that before, but do you think that the runes came along as a replacement for the bones?
The runes, I don't think they were a replacement. This is just an opinion. I don't think they were a replacement. I think that they worked alongside of the bones because long time ago, thousands of years ago, when they threw runes, they also mixed bones in with the runes. It didn't change until later where it was just runes and not bones. And sometimes it's still practiced that way today too, but it just later on it kind of went to just runes. But it's still considering practicing bones.
So I have, when I grew up in an atmosphere similar to what Kevin did, and my father was a pastor, blah blah blah. But the point is I always had questions, and I always delved into things that everybody told me not to delve into. Um, and so I opened myself up to all this stuff. I mean, I've got the Satanic Bible here somewhere. Um, so it's like I wanted to know. No, Kevin, I'm not a devil worshiper. Quit. Um, so, bottom line is that everybody finds their own path. I guess is what I'm trying to say. And whatever you find your comfort level is, you were led. Your life on this journey led you to the bones. And even though you are well versed in that, you're very good at it. You're almost an evangelist for throwing the bones, for bone casting. But you don't.
Never thought about it that way.
But you're not on the level of being judgmental toward other people who would rather take another path. That's where I'm trying to go with it.
Oh no.
So
right. I believe there's many paths.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I am. I think, as we talked before, it's all energy. We're dealing with energy, and maybe now this is a thought. You tell me what you think. Maybe based on our ancestors, based on our heritage as individuals, where we came from, and we all kind of have different paths that we came from before we were born. We inherited our blood through this path, if that makes sense. So we might be led a different way simply because that's what our ancestors were involved in. That may influence what we do without knowing it. It's like 10 generations ago, my ancestors were dancing in fire. You see what I'm saying? And so without me knowing why I'm so interested in fire, that could be the reason. You might have ended up casting of bones because of something in your ancestors long ago. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that maybe drew me to it. Yeah, like some kind of energy from my past, from my ancestors, maybe drew me toward this path, this particular path.
Right.
I understand. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm not totally losing my mind on that train of thought.
No. No, I can completely see that. I can see that because it was kind of it fell into my lap at a pagan festival, and I sort of got bit by the bug, and ever since then it's been my passion. Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of crazy. So there's got to be something in my past lives or my ancestors or something that drew me to it, because otherwise, why would it have been just dropped into my lap, and why would these things just be happening?
So before you were introduced to this, you were collecting skeleton parts and dissecting frogs and that kind of stuff.
No, no, actually, I'm a vegetarian.
Okay. Just to be clear, it wasn't something that snuck up on. I mean, it came from nowhere, basically.
It came from nowhere. It really did. I'm a vegetarian, and matter of fact, I do have to say this: all the bones that I have collected are cruelty free. All of them are cruelty free. I make sure that I get anything that I buy cruelty free. So, in other words, the animals weren't killed.
Okay, all
The
right.
animals weren't killed, yeah, for the purpose of my bone kit. They're all
Well,
cruelty free, naturally.
you take the fun totally out of it.
No, I have to say that because it's so important to me.
How, how, how can I intertwine my animal sacrifices with this? Is what I'm.
Well,
I mean,
I
gosh,
might have messed that up.
I'm trying to get the most for my money. In other words, I had to barter for this goat, and I'm going to sacrifice the goat. I reuse the blood. We drink it, and
Okay.
then I've slaughtered this goat as a sacrifice to the gods, and I got these bones, and I could be throwing bones.
You could be throwing them. You could still use them, but I would.
So, in all actuality, I did not kill the goat for the purpose of the bones.
That's true.
Okay,
You killed the goat for religious purposes.
that's it.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I can go with that. I can go with that.
I have a question.
Okay.
Do the bone kits that you sell have human bones in them?
No, I buy the special. Those are really expensive. I get them off of the Bone Room and the Skull Store, which are two different internet sites that I buy them from. But I do have about 22 actual bone pieces in my kit that I sell, and the kits come with over 40 something pieces in them. There's like anywhere from 40 to 45 pieces in the kit. So
Well, we
bone
might be
shells and cure.
we might be able to help you out because we're coming up on a. In fact, we're overdue for a virgin sacrifice. So the problem is it's hard to find a virgin anymore. So if you know of any,
They're
please
thinking
send them our way.
They're thinking, okay, how are you going to do that one?
He's so full of it.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I was going to sacrifice him, but I don't know. I think it'd be no. I like him too much. I don't want to sacrifice him. So, wow. All right. So Lisa Luna is over in Atlanta. She's coming this way for some promo work for the next few days, and her book. When do you think the book will be available?
Mid-July.
All right. How much is the book going to cost?
It's $17 when it comes out, but right now, if you get a pre-sale, it's $14.
All right. So, where do they go to buy the book?
As far as, well, right now they can get it online at my website,
Okay.
the www.anamoonfire.com.
Okay.
That's where the pre-sales are. Afterwards, I've got metaphysical stores that I'll be putting it in, and I'm going to be putting it on Amazon.
Okay.
Now, this is my first book, so I have to meet the criteria for Amazon, and I'm working on that.
It's
So
not hard.
hopefully I'll have it on Amazon. It's not hard. Well,
They let me.
hopefully
They
it'll
let
be up.
me on. They let me on there.
Well, that'll be another good conversation we can have. I've got the information for it, but yeah, I want to put it up on Amazon to make it easy for people. But if they go to my website and buy it, like you said, they can get an autographed copy.
Okay.
So
All right. Um, the book, you've got a copy of the book in front of you, your sample or whatever. So to entice people with your book, Lisa, just briefly go over the table of contents so they know what it contains.
Okay. Okay, so we obviously have the introduction, and then we have the account of throwing bones, which is basically like history, but because I couldn't pinpoint when exactly it started, we called it the account of throwing bones. An ancestral altar and how to create one and the importance of it. Bones, shells, and curios and how to collect them. The meanings of the pieces and tools, and the meanings of the pieces and tools take up about half of the book, because most people don't know. They'll get the bone kit and they don't know what the meanings are. Now, my bone kits do have meaning sheets in them, but if you're collecting them and you're not buying them from someone, you don't know what the meanings are. So my book is full of 200 meanings of the different bone, shells, and curios. How to get started in general information, personalizing your set, how to prepare fresh bones and feet, how to make your own chicken bones and prepare your own fresh like beef bones and stuff like that you might have had chicken wings or a steak or whatnot, and you want to make your own bones, how to prepare those. And then there's 11 different readings that are in this book that I teach, 11 different ones. So, you can personalize it to whatever the need of the querent is asking.
Is this book kind of like in conjunction with the workshops?
It is. It's like a hand in hand with the workshop. Exactly.
So
it's an instructional.
Okay, so when people sign up for the workshop, are they going to get a copy of the book with the workshop, or is that extra?
That might be a good idea. That might be something that I throw out there. I hadn't even thought about that, but that might be a really good idea.
I'm giving you too many ideas freely, so we need to talk. We'll talk about money tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but yeah, you want to. To me, if that's going to be part of the workshop, I would have that with the bone kit and the book. And even if they didn't want the bone kit, I think I would insist on them having the book, because that's kind of the guide for your workshop, right? Yeah.
Right. It follows along with the workshop. Exactly. Yeah. It's like having a workbook, to follow along, a thick workbook to follow along with the workshops.
All right. We're coming into about 10 minutes left. You've got a few events coming up at some oddities conventions, oddities and curiosities. Enlighten us to where people can come and meet you in person at these places. And it don't matter where you guys are, she goes all over the place. But tell us what dates are kind of written in stone. Of course, everybody keep in mind COVID-19. You just don't know, right? But provided everything goes smoothly, this is where you can find her. And if the rest of us are lucky, maybe Kevin and I can bring some books and even get us a booth at some of these places.
That would be great. Yeah. Okay. So I have a few events coming up. I don't have the dates in front of me, but they are on my website. I'm going to be doing the Oddities and Curiosities Expos. One in November is going to be in Tampa, Florida. And one in December, I believe it was December 19th, is going to be in Little Rock, Arkansas. Prior to that, in October, I will be at the Southeastern Witches Ball, which is in Aiken, South Carolina, and that is on Halloween. And that'll be a huge event. It's one of the largest witches balls around, and it's all these witches gathered together, pointy hats and everything. We do it all. But I'll be reading bones there, and I'll be doing a couple pagan events in between. But all of my events are listed on my website at www.adalamoonfire.com. But the big expo, the Curiosities and Oddities expos, those are the ones that I really want y'all to join me with. It's a huge event, and it's a lot of fun. And like I said, the one in November is in Tampa, and the one in December is in Little Rock.
Okay, and keep bookmark her website so you keep up to date. Do you have like and here I am throwing too much stuff at you, I'm sorry, but what you're doing, if you get a following, you should go to like get you an account with like mailchimp.com and have a mailing list, so you do like a little newsletter, and that way you can keep your followers up to date on such things. Are you on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, any of those?
I'm on Instagram. I'm on Yelp, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I'm kind of on. I'm working on a channel on YouTube, and that's, I'm not on TikTok yet or the Snapchat yet. I'm not on those yet. Those I have to talk to you about.
Okay.
But
Right.
yeah, so I'm on Facebook and Instagram. You can find me on both of those, and hopefully I'll be on the other one soon.
Get it, yeah, you get it out there. Okay. Now, let's see. Now the oddities thing, I'm very interested in that. What Kevin and I could do, because it's oddities and curiosity, right? Curiosities.
Oddities, curiosities.
So all Kevin and I have to do is have a blind set up that we would be sitting behind, and somebody out front saying, you know, $10 to peek at an oddity and a curiosity, and we'd let them behind.
He's so funny.
I'll put y'all in my suitcase, and you can be my oddity and curiosity while I'm selling the book and doing the reading.
And for another $10, they can get a selfie with us and say we saw an oddity and a curiosity.
That's right. And you'll have to get T-shirts made too. You'll
That's
have to get
it.
T-shirts made that say oddity, curiosity.
And Kevin, I'll be real nice to you. I'll be the oddity and you be the curiosity.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much.
All right. Kevin,
Y'all forgot about me.
You're in the dark there.
we're showing you respect because you are, and I want everybody to notice this, to how we're supporting Black Lives Matter. I think it's very important because I grew up in Alabama. I know the history. I've seen the history. I'm one of those guys that's old enough, shut up, Kevin, to remember the for whites only signs. This is not ancient history in my book. So I'm glad to see these protests. A lot of people disagree with me. I don't care. I've seen it. I've lived through it. It's old news, but that, get my finger pointing the right way. Like the weatherman with the green screen behind him, you know? So we're honoring Black Lives Matter because that's what that black right there is for. We're not going to talk about the fact that somebody's in pajamas and whatnot.
Some people might want me to turn my camera on.
Anyway, folks, it's all about peace and love, you know? Some people say that God is love. I say love is God. All right? Kevin and I don't share the same beliefs, but we get along, right, Kevin?
I guess so. You can say that.
Okay. Kevin and I have a lot in common. He likes me, and I like me too.
And that's what's important.
I'm having to roll
All
my
right.
pants legs up in here.
Kevin Kane, my
Oh, thanks.
he's got on his YouTube channel on My 100 Dolls Kevin Kane YouTube. He's got a tour of his new house with all his dolls, so you can get kind of an overview. Plus, he has, going back through ancient history, on his YouTube channel, he's got all these little videos of where he has done all these spirit box sessions with these dolls. So you want to make sure you go there and enjoy that. He also does these little podcasts. Kevin, I'm doing your talking for you. Tell them what all you do.
Yeah, I got a podcast I do every couple of weeks on Podbean. It's called The Haunted Collection. And you can access all this by just going to myhauntedDolls.com. On the main page, I've got a link to the podcast. And then you can go to links to find my YouTube to go out there and watch the videos. There's story videos and there's EVP, spirit box videos. I just posted one, my first spirit box here in the new house over the weekend. So be sure to go and check that out. I got some interesting responses to that. And use my new camera. The new microphone worked because the sound wasn't all that great, but it's still, you can still hear it. But yeah, check out the Podbean podcast, and you can tell scary stories.
You got that new camera, and I believe that you turned out your lights and it's got a night vision on it, so it went black and white. Is that correct?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, because somebody had asked why it went black and white.
That's night vision.
Yeah, night vision on it. So follow him. A lot of interesting stories. Kevin's a good storyteller. And then I'm going to get my plug in, and I'm going to let Lisa plug herself. Remember, folks, I'm old. I got a bucket list. Help me live it out there. Dating the Dead and Spectrophilia. And if you don't know what the word spectrophilia means, don't look it up. Just buy my book. Okay? Very simple. Now, this book is not for people under the age of 18 because there is a woman in this book that claims to have had sex with Bigfoot. So, according to the story she told, the feet of Bigfoot are not the only thing that's big about it. Okay? So, you'll have to read that story for yourself. So, and you can learn more about the book by going to datingthedead.com. You'll be surprised at the number of people that have not only had relationships, intimate sexual relationships with ghosts, which are dead people, right? But also with inanimate objects. There's a lady that married a bridge, honestly. There's a guy that makes love to his car. I didn't know that that's what the tailpipe was for, but I guess I learned something new.
Just make sure it's not hot.
Well, he thinks it's hot.
Yeah, touch that tailpipe after it's been running for a minute.
Interesting, fascinating stories. The wonderful thing about me putting this book together is I didn't have to use my imagination. These people claim this stuff. So all I did is share what these people claim, and I'm serious. I've got a picture in the book of Bigfoot carrying this naked woman through the woods. Okay, so what can I say? Fascinating stories, whatever. Even some well-known people. I'm talking about superstars that claim to have had sexual relationships with ghosts. Now, I'm going to run over time just a little bit, but I haven't promoted myself much in this series tonight. But this book is really fascinating. In Indonesia, there's a place in Indonesia where every year they dig up their dead, freshen up their bodies, dress them up, spend time with them, rebuild their coffins. And after they spend some time with them, they take selfies with the dead people. Then they bury them. There's even stories about the religious. If you're familiar with the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints, which is commonly known as the Mormons, they marry for the dead. They go back in genealogy and they say, "Oh, Grandma and Grandpa were never married in the church. So you stand in for Grandpa, I'll stand in for Grandma, and we're going to get them married." So they even marry for the dead. Humans have this strange relationship with dead people. Now, Lisa has a super strange relationship with dead people because she takes their freaking bones and throws them and then tells your future. It's like, you're going to come into money next week because that piece of that toe told me so. Now, that's a fascinating story. Lisa, wrap up our show. Tell them what you want to about yourself and your book and whatnot, and then we're going to call it a night.
Okay, well, I would love it if everybody would go to my website, www.atalantamoonfire.com, pre-order the book. It's really interesting. It goes over all of my workshops. There it is. It goes over my workshops and my classes, or take a workshop and class. Just go check out my website, see my dates coming up where you can find me, and ask me any questions you want. And you can also subscribe to a newsletter on my website. So that would be fantastic.
All right, folks, we went 3 minutes over time for our scheduled broadcast, which is no big deal. Thank you, everybody, that joined us. Remember to bookmark Lisa's website. Stay in touch with that woman. Like my buddy Kevin down there, she's going places with this. And you go back and review this entire broadcast if you didn't see it all. She did a couple of fantastic, phenomenal readings. No, I did not let her throw bones in my behalf because I know skeletons in my closet already talking. I have to keep them locked in there securely. Okay. Who knows? The CIA or Interpol or somebody don't need to know this stuff. That's all I can tell you. Okay. Kevin, thank you. I enjoy. Huh?
I'll get you one time. I'll get you to do it one time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. And everybody say good night, peace, love, and all the above.
Good night.